What's up, everybody? It's your favorite no outlets, favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Kukinski from DX9, which is their take on Deadend, my favorite Transformer of all time. So, a lot of good things about this for me already out of the box. I want to shout out East Coast Toys, who I got this from. Expedient shipping, good customer service, especially if you're on the East Coast. There's not a lot of vendors on the East Coast, so good group of people to do business with, in my opinion. A link to their stores and contact information is in the description. Now, we're going to take a look at this guy. We're going to talk about him. We're going to compare him to some other vehicles from different Stunticon sets. We're going to show all the Deadend so far. We got a lot to do, but in order to do any of it, we got to start with accessories. And there's not a lot to talk about. You get this gun, you can fold up the stock, and I don't think there's any paint on this. I think it's just the swirly plastic. Some people hate it, some people like it. I don't mind it in most cases. It doesn't necessarily do anything for me on here. Very simple sculpt work, so nothing really spectacular whatsoever. You can plug it into the top of the vehicle so that he can kind of parade around town with it, and he'll hold it just fine with the gun tabbing into the palm of the hand in typical Masterpiece style. Gimmicks wise, you can open up the side doors here and then close them. And now we'll talk about the vehicle mode. So it's pretty good, and the metallic red does come through. I'll tell you, there's some changes that they've done. I'm not exactly sure why, but it has been obvious, especially since I just looked at pardon me while I'm moving the camera. I just looked at the Wild Rider not too long ago, doing the comparison. There are some changes that have happened. No die cast at the tires for this guy, so that's interesting. And as a result, they've painted the hubcaps. And as a result, also, it has like a little bit less weight than the Wild Rider did. But much like the Wild Rider, a lot of metallic paint comes through in vehicle mode. It ends up looking a lot better in vehicle mode. As a result, it rolls like a champ. The headlights look good. It's got the little symbol kind of sculpted in, nothing painted on there. And then we got the headlights, blinkers, brake lights, I guess, are in there. And and blinkers as well. It looks good, man. Like, they've really nailed the vehicle modes. And the only unfortunate thing about it is that they don't nail the vehicle mode for Motormaster. So there's like, you can't really, well, in my opinion, you really shouldn't use this set for a vehicle mode. But the rest of them have been great. Pretty clean underneath. And let's do some comparisons. There it is with the two Fans Toys cars. So just about completely perfectly in line. Looks good. They look good together. There it is with the cab from X-Transbot's Motormaster. So also they look pretty good together. And probably even more so with the trailer. But yeah, looks good. Tiger Tracks. So let's get him transformed. The first thing you want to do is unlock these side tabs. Once they're out, you can fold in the outermost flap. So same on this side, out, fold in the outermost flap. This front piece here, we can split, bring your headlight section in towards the middle. Try not to do that. There we go. There we go. Lift the hood up. And that will allow you to extend the arm. And then we got to do some pretty serious cleanup on the arms. So rotate down to start getting it somewhat in line. Rotate the fist out. Now, the bicep and the forearm both swivel. And you need this section of the headlight to go underneath this section of the hood. So rotate that down towards the bottom, bring the headlight section around. Then you'll notice the little tab will fit in that area right behind. Then this will close down perfectly, seamlessly there. And then this piece will come around and plug in to the forearm. So we're gonna do that again. Twist and open. And flip and twist so that the headlight piece sits in that groove. This will flip down on top, and this piece will come over and tab in to the wrist, and you're good. Bring in your two side pieces that we opened up in the first step, and then bring out this entire section here, and the windows as well. And actually, I'm not sure if you can. Let's see. Just enough. You just got to get it cleared enough where you can bring out this middle section that's a little bit more of his torso. Just kind of move your pieces around as need be, and push on the back end of this and extend the head out from the neck. I might have to do a little bit more work on that, but you get the idea. Onto the feet, and they can be a little tricky. Just bring them down and then split this. Remember this tab here that locks them together because it's crucial. So take this tab, flip it out. You also got to take this entire section here. Don't worry about the wheel. Take this entire section here, and you have to get it around the first flap you flipped, as it were. You can even extend the leg and kind of get yourself some more wiggle room. Then you can get that down and out of the way. Now the problem here is that your knee won't extend, right? So the first thing you want to do is maneuver that lock that we just talked about, that I requested you not forget, so that you can get this straight. And it's only going to go straight one way. And once it does, you'll find that it'll fall into place quite simply. Now, you have this flap left to flip. Bring up this piece, bring up your wheel, spin them 180. And at that point, you can flip your front shin down, and that will tab into a number of places. Bring your foot out, bring this flap down. You can close this flap up and capture that, and bring your wheel down. We'll do that again on the other side. I know it is a bit of a bear to understand and kind of grasp. In hand, it's really not that bad. Okay, so, and actually you can spin that around as well. So now we're looking at the back of it. Okay, flip this flap. Then you want to bring up this entire flap. You're only really flipping this to kind of get clearance. After you have it, you can get the leg to the halfway point. Then flip that flap down and just sort of get it out of your way. You'll notice that the leg will spin and fall into place. Once it has, bring this section back around, bring this piece up and your tire up, spin that section 180, lock it into place, bring that flap down, bring your tire down, and flip the initial flap back into place. Spin the thigh 180. Now, spin the waist 180. Move the body so that it makes anatomical sense. Peg in your side pieces here. That will solidify the body. Your rear windows, or your side doors rather, fold in the windows and then flip them up underneath the back piece there. Rotate your shoulders down into position. And after you have done that, you're pretty much done. I will obviously get the finishing touches on him, clean him up, we'll take a look at him. So let's take a look at the figure. And the head is on a hinge swivel. You get up to there, down to there, and a swivel. Once again, I feel like the profile in general, but particularly the head, looks a little flat. I also feel like it looks a little long, like his nose is too long, which I don't understand because his head could have been a bit shorter, like just squished this way. Just proportionately, it seems off. It's the spirally plastic for the gray, metallic purple eyes, and the metallic gold mouthpiece, which does look good. So articulation works fine. Shoulders, we have a hinge inside that comes out to a universal at the shoulder. As a result, you're going to be able to get the arm all the way up, as it were, out to the side, 360 around with the clowns from out of town, and outward movement, bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, wrist swivel, and hinge in out. It does start to kind of like, because it's a tighter joint, and you bump up against this piece here, and it does start to kind of split apart the forearm. Not a big deal, easily sorted. 3 shades of red there. I'm not sure how I feel about that. There's this plastic shade of red, this plastic shade of red, and then the painted red. Not sure how I feel about that. Not crazy about it if at the moment. The thumb is on a hinge. The fingers are on a base pen knuckle, and they have tight writer fingers, and they are proportionately a little strange too, a little small this way. The chest. So it's white plastic and I think gray paint added on, and then we have the silver, the 2 shades of silver in there for the chest. Waist swivel, ab crunch to 90 degrees, which is nice, and I don't know. That's about it. Nothing to really report. A little hollow back there. I don't think that's a big deal though. All right, we have these hip covers for universal joints. I don't know why. Like, I don't like the proportions on this guy. I might as well talk about that now. Like, once again, like this section seems too long. This section seems too short. I'm just not crazy about it. It's you know, it's much more like Wild Rider than it is like Breakdown in regard to their proportions. Universals for hips. You get out to there. Full Van Damme, forward and back, full Monty. Thigh swivel built around the universal. We got the spirally plastic for the thighs. It's a double jointed knee technically, but you don't really get the secondary hinge. You really just get the first for 90 degrees. All of this looks fine. There's some sculpted detail in there and stuff. No issues. Kind of good to go. Basic. The ankles are really non-existent. Everything is working off of the toe. So the toe gets you the ankle rocker, and then we get an ankle tilt up and down, but it's all, like I said, it's all on the toe. So it's a little bit of a cheat as well. Yeah, not bad. And I'll tell you, like, it is growing on me kind of the more I mess with it, but my initial kind of reaction to seeing the robot for the first time in hand was, it's not pretty. It's not pretty. Let's do some size comparisons, though, and have a look. Size comparison-wise, there he is with the rest of the DX9 Stunnicon bots, and he fits in. He looks really right next to the Wild Rider. Unfortunately, I feel like their Breakdown is still their best one of the car bots. And these two just don't look as good as Breakdown, but at least they all kind of are the same size and everything and height. I'm not exactly sure why these two look so kind of proportionately different than this guy, but what do you want from me? They look good next to Motormaster as well.
And Harvest still pleading.
And there he is with some other dead ends, because I wanted to do this. My little dead end collection, minus the G1, which I also have. And there he is with the Fans Toys bots, where he'll kind of be staying for me as like a placeholder until the rest of them come in. And I mean, fits in fine, you know, like fine enough, I think. Same size and all that. Final thoughts wise, let me start with the negatives. I don't like that the whole thing operates off of the front toes. Like, there's no foot on this thing, it's just toes. The ankle tilt is toes, the ankle rocker's toes, and then it's a big hollow calf. I'm not crazy about that. My other issue is kind of the general proportions. I feel like his head is too long. I feel like his hands are too thin. I feel like his kind of torso in general is too thin, but it's not crazy. But I feel like his torso is too long, and that is crazy. I feel like his hips are too long, his thighs are too short. The proportions of this guy seem all over the place to me, and there is something jarring about that. Also, and I'm just speaking out of my butt right now, but where the ab crunch is, it's screwed together. The idea of having to take this apart with a screwdriver in order to make the combined mode arms work doesn't necessarily appeal to me either, but I'm going to reserve judgment until I actually do it. Overall, though, I do think he's a good figure. Let me tell you why. The car mode is beautiful. The materials are fine. Nothing stellar, but fine. They'll hold up to under the transformation, which is enjoyable. a lot of fun, honestly, and relatively intuitive. He has a decent enough presence because of his size, and it's painted well. It's a fun figure. Now, fun only goes so far in my book, but this one goes far enough to give me a recommend for you guys if you have been in on the other set or are really considering this set. It's kind of good enough. Still feel like it pales in comparison to Breakdown, but so does Wild Rider. Breakdown and Motormaster are definitely the standouts of this set thus far. Once again, shout out to East Coast Toys, and thank you guys for listening. Thanks for watching. Till next time, take care.